Previously on the Talon Mix.
Zach, look at this cool rock that I found.
Brian, no! That's an ancient Kryptonian artifact!
Brian, I think I'm in your body. There's been a transference, just like that episode of Smallville we just watched. Also, my dick is enormous now.
I was gonna make the same joke. Oh, man. And now, an all-new Talon Mix.
This is awesome.
Oh, fuck. Hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. You are listening to the Talon Mix, a Smallville recap podcast for people who have never seen an episode of Smallville. I'm Brian, here as always with my buddy Zach. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm living the dream. It's weird to experience this my brain is still struggling to compress.
Right. Well, let's bring people up to speed in case they could not decipher our very clear previously on the Talon Mix. Brian and I Zach and I.
It's hard. It's weird. It's weird to get used to.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm looking at, yep, definitely. Zach and I switched bodies. Our consciousness transferred because I foolishly was messing around with what I did not realize was an ancient Kryptonian artifact. I just thought it was a cool rock.
It's really, though, when we're dealing with an episode like this, you should have known better. You should have known not to pick up strange spooky
really,
rocks.
Though, I mean, what are the odds of the week we covered the body swap episode in Smallville, we actually swap bodies?
a real humdinger.
So, I did want to ask, how was Christmas with my family?
It was good.
How's Emily? Is she doing okay?
Yeah,
How is she doing with the body swap thing? Or did you tell her?
It's, just kind of keeping it kind of, she didn't want to ruin Christmas and everything, kind of didn't want that whole big complication. So I'm really just, thankfully we've exchanged notes to make this as smooth as possible.
I was going to say, did anyone pick up on the fact that we switched bodies?
I'm not used to the height thing, so I am stumbling around a lot, and I have thankfully dropped when we first switched, I did spend a lot of time trying to get my usual smooth, silky voice, my fantastic podcasting voice. Yes. Upon realizing that wasn't going to happen, I kind of went up into your usual shrieky weird thing that you do. And then that was fine. That was fine. Everyone just bought it.
Yeah. So did you at your family gatherings, was there any time where you had to think on your feet? Someone was like, hey, remember this specific family memory? And you were like, sure.
There was a moment where my mother-in-law asked, hey, if you were doing a body swap bit on a podcast and asked if you had to think on your feet about a thing in the moment, what kind of joke would you make? And I went, ah, and I ran away.
I mean, it's actually kind of convenient that this happened this week because I didn't have to spend time with my in-laws. I mean, you don't know anyone there already, so you might as well.
That's true. That was very true. You know what? They were lovely. They were lovely people.
Well, they're not your in-laws. So
there you go. That is the difference.
Look, they are lovely people. I love them. They're great. I mean, they're great. It's still kind of a uncomfortable thing to spend holidays at the in-laws' house, no matter how nice they are.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
It's that's the natural order of things. That's the way it should be.
That's how it should be.
It should be a little ay. How was my holiday through your eyes?
Well,
also, how was my dog?
I think your family might be racist.
Oh, no. Yeah, that is a thing. I should have warned you about that.
I'm totally teasing. Not any more than the average white family in America. Really, no, not really. That was a joke. They were lovely. Most of the people in your family are really tall. Like no one's as tall as you, but everyone's pretty tall, which is
Yeah, they're
odd.
it's a big bunch. It's a big bunch.
Yeah. Except for your mom, who is short for some reason. But like even the people who aren't related to you, like your stepbrother, your stepsister, your stepdad, they're tall too. What is that?
I'm not sure. The rest, I think something about the transference has been strange. But the rest of my mom's family, have you seen them recently? Are they tall? Is it just my mom?
Wait, your mom is not tall.
Right. But is the rest of my mom's family tall?
No.
Okay. So it is a short side of the family, but still spit out a bunch of tall rows.
My dad is tall. Your dad is tall.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said my dad. That was weird.
I mean, it's been a couple of days, and like, as far as I know, this change is permanent. We just have to be used to this now.
Brian, do you think we'll ever go back?
No, I don't.
They seem to figure it out. Should I call you Brian or Zach? I'll call you Zach since we know, like, we don't have to put on airs around here.
Right. No, if anywhere on the podcast, we can be our true transferred selves.
Exactly. Yes. Me being Brian Miller and you being Zach.
Me being Zach Rowe, of course.
Yeah. Yes. So normally on the podcast, listeners probably know that we talk about kind of what movies or pop culture we've engaged in the past week. This week, we wanted to talk about sort of, New Year's Eve is tomorrow. We wanted to talk about the whole year in review of sort of pop culture, more towards the movies we tend on this podcast, movies we've seen this year. However, since we've swapped bodies, this is going to be kind of confusing for people just listening. Like if someone just tuned in, I don't want them to think that my favorite movie is the same as your favorite movie necessarily.
Right.
So Brian, being me, I exchanged notes with Zach, and we kind of know the other one's opinion, so we're just going to act like we are.
I have enough to riff off of, I think. I can fake a Brian opinion on the year in review.
You, Zach, are going to represent me, my Brian's opinions.
Right.
And I, Brian, in Zach's body, am going to represent Zach's opinions for this portion of the show.
Just this portion of the show. Yes.
Right. If anyone listening doesn't have a headache yet, just wait. We'll get you there.
Try being transferred. That's the real headache.
I thought that being transferred would be a lot easier than this. And I'm already struggling.
Yeah.
Like really hard.
Yep. It'll get easier.
Okay.
This is our first time podcasting after being transferred.
So, Zach, why don't you start and tell me, let's talk about, you tell me what my favorite movies were.
Right.
As if you're me. Just pretend you're me.
Sure. Okay. Brian, I did this all at your in-laws. I can.
Yeah, right. you gotta be good to go by now.
I'm in it. Okay, I'm Brian. Here we go. Gotta say, first of all, I don't have that much to say about it. Man, I'm so good at being you. I don't have that much to say about it. I was ready maybe for Avatar: Way of the Water to I was kind of hoping it would enter the list at the last possible minute, and it didn't. I liked it. I would even go so far as to say I quite liked it, but I would just leave it in I liked it. I don't think it's in my top of the year, in any.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Do you want to have the Avatar 2 talk right now before we do the rest of it, or?
that's up to you.
It's okay. Yeah. So I think you and I are on the same page with it, which is enjoyed the hell out of it, recognized the achievement that it is, appreciate the achievement that it is, no regrets.
Right.
What an experience.
Right.
And also we're both kind of like, didn't blow me away.
Right. Agreed.
Neither did the first Avatar.
I feel very similar about them.
But like, I enjoyed the whole time I was watching it. I enjoyed it. I mean,
right.
Until the last 15 minutes, I wasn't like, oh man, this is a long movie, you know. So, and it is a long movie. It's
a long
3
movie.
hours and 20 fucking minutes. But yeah, just that guy knows how to make an action sequence.
That's the thing that bugs me, and by me I mean you. So there's a conversation around like movies like this, or this movie specifically, I think where the general like conversation can kind of become like a deep story and character, good action for good and for smart people, and smart people who don't like dumb, action for dumb. And it's like a executed action sequence with like multiple story threads, clear goals, and like momentum and like a level of like emotional stakes is incredibly hard to pull off, and James Cameron is very good at them, and that is craftsmanship.
Absolutely. It's frustrating. It's frustrating anytime people lump all the movies or shows in a genre together.
Yes.
Like, I think people have that view of action just like they used to have that view of horror, because most of it isn't very well done.
Sure. Right.
So, but to me, that makes it, when it is well done, all the more impressive and all the more to be celebrated.
Right. You know, it is just funny though, of like, I feel like there's this sentiment of like, well, it looks pretty, but it's dumb for your brain. And like,
yeah,
I'm going to throw out there that very well composed images in a visual medium.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's worth gaining some film literacy, I guess. Is that douchey?
Right. Yes. I also feel like the story being simple,
and to make no mistake, it is.
Yes. But that is why it's so effective.
Right. It's for a
like Titanic, real fucking simple story there too.
Terminator 2 is a kid getting chased by a robot. Like,
right. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's basically a boy and his Terminator. Is Terminator 2.
Right. I will say my wife, your wife, but for the purposes of this, my wife, I quite liked it. Emily really liked it, and she was really lukewarm on the first one. For whatever that, there's a bit during the movie where I don't think this is too much of a bad thing happens to a whale.
A space whale.
A space whale.
An Avatar world whale.
But so this is happening, and my wife is, for lack of a better word, ugly crying. Like, I think something is wrong, ugly crying. And like, I think something's wrong, like, with like the pregnancy bad. And I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, do we have to go? And she looks at me, it's like, I'm sad about the whale.
Well, look, Zach, my wife is emotional right now. Her body's going through a lot of stuff.
And that whale
scene sad. It was a sad part of that movie.
It's a very sad part of that movie.
I mean, look, how fucking great was Sigourney Weaver in that movie?
So good.
So good.
Extremely smart, I think, to like backseat Sam Worthington a little bit and just make Sigourney Weaver the main character.
Right. Well, just like all the kids.
Yes.
It was good. It was fun. I got no ill will in my heart towards that movie, and I pity anyone who does.
It's not the end. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure James Cameron's an asshole, but like it's funny. And like I also understand it's like this mega budget thing, and it's kind of the easy one to be like, this movie's not the enemy or like the problem. It's
Right.
not.
No.
It's a
This movie.
It's a gigantic action movie
save
about
us.
blue people. Like it's
Right.
not the enemy.
Well, also, I know it's a sequel, but to a movie that is a totally original concept.
Right.
It's not based on some existing IP other than the first movie, which no one remembered anyway.
Right.
So obviously the story is cobbled together from 100 other stories, and that's fine. That's Star Wars was too. But there's something to be said for this kind of movie, well crafted and not just IP droning nonsense, just spit out. Just
right.
Watch the next one. Give us your. Although this is different than anything James Cameron has done before, in that it knows that it's part of more movies, so it doesn't close all the threads.
Right, which I don't love.
Me either.
It's not even the best version of that having been done that I've ever seen. But you know what? I have no ill will towards it. I quite enjoyed it. I'd like to see it again. While it's in theaters, the theatrical experience that I had was not ideal. It was we texted about it afterward, but I saw it in one of the smaller auditoriums at a Regal in Short Pump, Virginia. And like, I think the bulb was at like 70% capacity. And that was kind of like bugging me the whole movie.
Oh yeah. I can't handle that, especially on a 3D movie, because they're already a little dimmer.
Right. Which this was not in 3D. This was in 2D.
Okay.
So it luckily didn't have that issue, but
Zach, see it in 3D, because I saw it. I don't like 3D.
Yeah.
The only times I liked it was the first Avatar, and then Prometheus was well done in 3D.
Oh, right. I did see Prometheus in 3D and did like that as well.
But I saw, the movie with your brothers who thought I was you at an IMAX in 3D, and it was quite lovely.
I do regret not doing that.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was talking about it and said, and it's not fair. There are people out there who don't spend a lot of time thinking about movies. They spend a lot of time thinking about other things, and that's fine and good.
Right, yeah.
But you said to me with a straight face, I'm just so over 3D. None of us were on board for 3D. It was a thing that was thrust upon us. No one was like, yeah, cool, chill, I like this.
Wait, when did he say I'm just so over 3D?
At a party a couple of weeks ago.
Dude, 2012 called. It wants its take back.
That's exactly.
Like, people were over 3D so long ago.
Right.
Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm nostalgic for it now. It's been so long since I've seen a movie in 3D.
In 2009, when Avatar came out, people went, I don't want to wear the fucking glasses. And then after seeing it in 3D, we're not sold. Never got on the train in the first place. Like, no one.
It was like a 4-year thing where everything had to be released in 3D.
But nobody liked it. Nobody liked it.
I think most people didn't. I think maybe kids and people who were not big cinephiles were more into it.
Sure.
But even then, I know a lot of people who aren't into movies who are like, I just can't do I can't do the glasses.
Right. You know what I will say about 3D though? If I'm gonna do 3D, if I have to pay the extra fucking 3D money and I have to wear the stupid fucking glasses during the stupid fucking movie, I don't want like a subtle depth of field expansion. I want fucking the dumb 3D gimmick, you know? Like have me go, whoa, and like right Jaws 3D stuff right towards the screen. Like if you do it in 3D or don't. And the answer was don't frequently.
There was a decent amount of stuff like that in the movie. I will say, you probably didn't get this, but because it was IMAX and it was 3D, we got the version which was projected at varying frame rates.
Right. I don't think I had that at
So certain sections were normal frame rate and certain sections were high frame rate, and it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Jarring.
I'm not super sensitive to frame rates. I fucking hate motion smoothing, don't get me wrong. But
yeah, well, in 3D, it didn't bother me.
Sure.
I think if it wasn't 3D, I would have been bothered by it. It was jarring to go back and forth between the two.
Sure.
The different frame rates.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, movies of the year. Should we do real quick?
I think
just our like.
I think that's a good call. Should I just shoot you my 5?
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. And I'll shoot you mine here. Hold on. Let me type them up real quick.
Great.
You could just, when you're talking about these movies, just kind of do your best job to sound like me and have my opinions about them.
Great. Would you like all 5 at once, or would you like do one and one?
Yeah, I didn't prepare them in order. Great. I should have thought about that. So let's just do one and one. Yeah, I'll do one and one.
Great. I'm gonna go for this is a pretty informal ranking just for but the first one I'll bring up, Jackass Forever. I know it's like not for everybody, but it was like just seeing your favorite band get back together and just play, no new songs, you know, just playing the hits. And you're like,
but you don't want them to play new songs when they're back together. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, it's just my favorite style of comedy is someone getting hurt by their own dumb idea. Like, yes, that hurt them, but they literally set that up and then jumped off of it. So it's funny.
Right.
It was just good to see the old cast again. I liked all of the new cast. There's a couple of truly sickening bits. And I just had an absolutely delightful time with it, and I believe a series is coming to Paramount Plus with some of the new people, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Okay, let me read yours here. Okay. I really enjoyed The Batman. The Robert Pattinson,
yes.
The Batman. I've only seen it the once in theaters, but it was nice to see a comic book superhero movie that was dark in a fun gothic way.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
And it was serious, but it was serious in the way that a comic book is serious.
Matt Reeves has a smile on his face in most, like, filming most shots.
Yes.
It's a very like it's dark. Yeah, it is dark, quote unquote, but it's not like grim. It's having fun with it in a very
right. It's
big
not
way.
Dark in a way that is up its own ass,
right?
Or just depressing and makes you hate that you're watching it.
Right.
I'm not talking about the Nolan movies. Hint, hint.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I like great visuals, great performances, great score.
Yes.
Great fucking score. Gosh, how high is the bar for Batman themes? And they they're out in the discussion with the other two really good ones.
I'm just not to bite the hand that doesn't feed us. Let's be clear, it does not feed us. But Batman, several great scores. Superman, just the one.
No.
Oh, I guess
The Man of Steel score is fucking
You're right.
fantastic, and it's what makes that movie watchable.
You're right. But it's I can't hum that Man of Steel. I can't hum a Superman theme from.
Well, the Hans Zimmer score is, they don't really do like a march, like.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Batman's got at least 3 really good ones. Superman's got 2.
Yes, and that's combined. That's 5 great DC scores and 0 great Marvel scores.
Not a one. I don't even
think
there's
not great.
Not a great one. I don't even know if there's like a very good one. I think they're all
Like
just yeah.
The original Spider-Man movies, that was a Danny Elfman
Oh right, yeah.
score. That was fine,
It's fun.
but yeah, I wouldn't be able to hum it.
It's I mean it's Danny Elfman, so diddly 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 bum 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 bum.
That's it. Okay,
You got it, probably.
All right, what's next on your list, Zach? I mean,
in this case, this
as
would be
me,
Brian's. This would be your list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this one. Kind of went through. Was kind of hot on the internet. RRR. This is a Tollywood film out of India. It is a historical drama musical maybe not a musical, but there is a lot of music across its 3 hours. Saw this in a theater with a lot of fucking people and was just one of the most balls to the wall fun experiences I've ever had. And the movie's just good. It's a good, it's incredibly over the top. But part of me really thinks we should bring back the movie star that can like act, sure, but can also like sing and dance. And we should bring that back. Like, you can't be Captain America unless you can also sing and dance. Like a proper showman, you know? And that's the thing. This movie is just a proper showman movie. I loved RRR.
Would there be singing and dancing in a Captain America movie in this world that you're talking about?
I think so. I think because like it's a movie, so like all the good stuff is in them. That's good in a movie, so it should be in the movie.
Great.
Pure maximalist entertainment. Highly, highly, highly recommend RRR. It is available on Netflix, but if you have the opportunity to see it in a theater, I don't think you'll regret it.
Well, that was beautiful. You relayed my opinion very well there, Zach. I know that you, Zach, have not seen RRR, but that you want to. And
but I think I got it.
It's on the list.
Right.
It's on the list. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what your next pick is here. Oops. All right. So this is kind of hard for me because Brian, did not really like this movie. I was kind of disappointed by it, but I'll do my best. All right. Next on Zach, my list is Nope. Really like Nope.
Oh yeah, you were a little mad on that one.
Yeah, really like great. Nope is very good. I don't know what to tell you other than I thought it was really fun.
You also have admitted you need to see it again.
Yeah.
And maybe...
Wait, I'm so confused now. Wait, Brian. Yes, Brian. Brian have admitted that I need to see it again.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. But Brian in Zach's body doing Zach's opinion about this movie would say that I thought there was a lot going on under the surface with this movie. I dug it. I liked it better than Us. I haven't seen Get Out since the theater, so I remember it was great. But I don't know. It's on that level for me. It's in that conversation.
Wow.
So
yeah,
dug it. I'll bring on the next Jordan Peele movie. I'm ready.
You will. I'm speaking as me. Speaking as Brian. I'm just channeling Brian, who will see the next Jordan Peele no matter what. I mean, like,
Right.
there's no
Right.
It would take
Whether you like it or not, like I didn't like Us very much, but still worth seeing, still interesting.
Absolutely.
We're taking swings. Take the swings. I'll go see your movie.
Absolutely. Speaking of swings, Resurrection. This was you talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You, Brian, talked about it a couple of weeks ago. But it is a movie that stars Rebecca Hall, and it starts kind of as a pretty safe cable thriller premise, and goes absolutely batshit insane. I have not stopped thinking about it since I saw it. Maybe one of the craziest endings I feel like I've seen in a while. Not to overhype it, but I didn't think it would go the direction it was saying it was gonna go, and it did, and I fucking loved it.
Great. Well, I know that you, Zach, have not seen that movie yet either, but it's on your list, and you're excited to check it out. So good job with my opinion. Okay, Brian, your next movie. Let's see. The Banshees of Inisherin.
You know what? We can double this one up because that's also your next pick.
Oh, great. Okay, so let's double up.
Right.
Let's talk about Banshees of Inisherin.
Just saw it the other day.
Great. I saw it about like last week. I mean, it's just fucking good writing, man.
It's
good writing, good acting. It's firing on all cylinders.
David Ehrlich, in reference to women, David Ehrlich is a critic for IndieWire. In reference to the movie Women Talking, which you also enjoyed, you being Brian.
Yes.
Talked about like how the script easily could have been a play. Easily. But like it's so fucking gorgeous that like you're so glad it's not, and that is exactly how I feel about Banshees. The script is easily.
Well, I mean, the island is a big element, and the atmosphere is huge.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's my favorite McDonough. And I like all of them.
Yeah, me too.
Just that perfect, like a very small but very. There's so many layers to it. There's so much going on beneath the very simple surface. And of course, it becomes shockingly violent at parts.
Yes. But also, it's such a universal thing that everyone has been through with like a friendship that has run its course.
Yep.
I'm not hinting at anything, Brian. I think we're still in our prime. Or sorry, Zach, we're still in our prime. But that one of you has outgrown the other one.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible, awkward, awful thing.
Yeah.
And God, and the acting is just so fucking good across the board.
Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson back at it again after since In Bruges.
In Bruges, yeah.
And just existential quip after existential quip, like.
Yeah, and the sister of Colin Farrell, I don't know the actress's name. She's fantastic. Yep. And then he's the up and comer who plays the kind of dim kid. I
recognize his face, but I don't know who he is.
He was the Joker in that one scene in the Batman.
Got it. Okay. He was fantastic. The whole movie's fantastic.
Great. Just watch it. Just watch it. I wasn't a huge fan of Three Billboards, but I loved this. So if you weren't a huge fan of Three Billboards, you still might love this one. Give it a shot.
I really liked Three Billboards, and I fucking loved this one 10 times more.
Great.
Great. It's just one of those like stunning fucking. My wife and I, Emily and I sat there just in stunned silence afterwards. Hypothetically, if we had planned to do a bit, if this whole thing was a bit, which of course it's not, boy, it sure would have been easier to say that we just pre-recorded this segment.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so much easier.
Yeah, too bad this isn't a bit. Too bad this is a very real transference.
Damn it. Yeah, you're right. Gosh. Well, I wish it was a bit.
Yeah.
And that would have been great.
Yep.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So I think Avatar might be on my list also, but we just talked about it. So I'm gonna put The Fablemans.
I really, really liked The Fablemans. I really, really
Yeah.
liked it.
The Fablemans. I mean, I guess that Spielberg guy knows how to put together a motion picture.
Yeah. I thought, it's someone else said this on Letterboxd. I'm legit just jacking this, but like, how cool is it that in his 70s, late 70s, early 80s, Spielberg, late 70s,
I think. Yeah.
How cool is it that he still feels like he has movies he like needs to make?
And he's still got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The performances in this one are great. The script is great. And like, how can you not, you remember Moneyball? Like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? Like, that's the fucking movies in this one. Like,
yes. I mean, I was watching this movie and I was just like, I want to go home and make movies.
Right.
Movies. I want movies in my blood. Movies. Give me movies. I love movies.
Movies are so good. I got this is your last one, I suppose.
I think it's probably going to be the same as your last one. I saved it to this moment because I think it's probably the same.
I mean, is it Top Gun Maverick?
Of course it's Top Gun Maverick.
Just watched it again yesterday, and here's the thing. Still just as good on my TV, man. I'm not going to say just as good, but real good on my TV.
The movie that saved movies is, of course, the movie of the year.
Seriously. It's so good. And we've talked about it before, neither of us big Top Gun guys. Top Gun, the Tony Scott film.
No. Neither of us big Top Gun guys. Neither of us big aviation heads.
Nope.
Neither of us big military guys. Nope. Neither of us. But, I mean, what's there to say? It's just fucking a blast from the past of a movie. Just a well-crafted movie.
Also, shoot things outside. Get off the green screen.
This to you recently, which is, it's nice to see a big budget extravaganza movie where you can see the money on screen.
Yes, absolutely. It's sometimes really,
instead of like, it's like, oh, this looks like it was filmed in someone's garage in front of a green screen for $5 million.
It's seriously, you watch one of these fucking Marvel things and it's like, this costs how much?
Oh, the DC, most of the DC stuff is just as bad or even worse.
Yeah.
Not the Batman, but like, I mean, I haven't seen Black Adam, but just based on the trailer,
definitely.
I can't believe that costs more than $20 million.
Seriously. I mean, that all went to The Rock.
Right. Yeah, it was all for paying for his protein shakes.
But man, it's a similarly to Avatar, I think it's simple. It's dirt simple. It's just Star Wars. It is the Star Wars fucking Death Star trench run. And it's fucking simple. It is clear. It is, boom, we have characters with goals. We have characters that conflict. We have incredible action sequences. We have a romance. Jennifer Connelly is so fucking pretty. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I've had a crush on her forever.
And Top Gun has the one thing that Avatar didn't have, which is the supernova star presence that is Tom Cruise.
Here, I've always been a fan and I've always been a vocal fan, but it's good to just throw it out there like, man, I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise. I think he's a good actor. I like him.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've always been a fan, but I felt like in the last few movies, even in the Mission Impossible movies, which I adore, it felt like he wasn't really acting. He was just like, he was there doing the big stunts and then saying the lines. this was a performance.
Yes.
This was a star performance.
Yes.
And it was nice to be like, this dude still has it. He still got it.
I perfectly articulated of like, there's actual, like, I don't know, there's something going on behind the eyes. It's pretend he's fake.
Yes.
Tom Cruise doesn't, but Maverick did.
I mean, it was great. Also, did you see the IMAX Mission Impossible preview?
No.
Well, you saw it, but not on IMAX. I sent it to you.
Right. Yes.
Of the stunt from the new Mission Impossible movie.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go, Brian.
It's
Zach, I'm talking to myself.
The promotional cycle has begun, where it's because here's the thing: the plot of what is this 7? This is 7.
Yes, 7 part 1.
Right. The plot will be something to the plot will be something along the lines of a nuclear bomb that someone probably shouldn't have. They're going to try and get. And Tom Cruise is going
Also, but Tom Cruise will have to go rogue.
Right.
He will have to break the rules outside of IMF.
Right.
Of course.
So it's like the promotional cycle for these movies aren't going to be about what the story of the movie is. There's usually like the casting usually isn't that exciting. It's all about just like, yo, what's this guy going to jump off of?
What is this fucking guy doing? What is this crazy motherfucker doing this time?
And it's and don't get me wrong, like when you have that like fuck you Tom Cruise money, the movie has to be really good. He knows that, so that he can keep jumping off of stuff. They're not going to keep paying for it if like they don't see the returns, and the returns keep coming because the movies are really good. So they just it's very clearly like a do it again until here's money until it's good. And it works every time, baby.
Christopher McQuarrie, who's the director, he posted that video on Instagram or something, and he said it was the craziest, most dangerous stunt they've ever done. He's like, until the one we're doing right now for 7 part 2, which I think is him like running back and forth between 2 biplanes in like the air or some shit.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait.
So good. Well, Brian, do you have anything else you want to add for movies?
There was one other big release this past week that we have not talked about. Glass Onion came out on Netflix.
Yes, and I know we both watched it.
We both watched it. I watched it with the way Ryan Johnson intended on your in-laws' television with motion smoothing on. I know you've spent years desperately searching through every setting trying to turn motion smoothing off of this fucking television, and it is there in defiance of God.
I fucking hate that. I can't. I wouldn't have been able to. I'd be like, I'll wait in the other room.
I was truly like, Emily was hoping to get a screener. They were giving out screeners, and Emily has like a Netflix like account where occasionally the like just preview stuff comes in, and we were just when we heard that screeners were coming out, we were just refreshing it and like just hoping it would maybe show up. And part of that was like, oh no, if we have to wait until Christmas, we'll have to watch it on your parents' TV, and I can't turn the motion smoothing off of your parents' TV. And yes, it did bug me the whole time.
That's a long movie to be bugged.
Emily's also one of those people who like thinks I'm a great, like doesn't notice it, doesn't like
what?
I know.
She's a film critic.
I know. I'm aware.
This critic of the cinematic arts cannot tell the difference between
it's if I really like insist someone look at this and then look at that, look at this and then look at this. She'll eventually be like, I mean, I can see a difference, but like I don't really care.
Oh man.
It literally drives me up a fucking wall.
That's brutal. Oh gosh.
And it's funny.
I would love to not care about it.
I know.
That
I
would be-
think it's
would
that's
be great.
of like I can like catch it, and it's not. If you don't notice it, yeah, you are maybe a happier person. Like I can. It's not something that like I have to sit down. Like, do they have? I'll see it from across the room. Like motion smoothing's on. Motion smoothing's on.
Yeah.
If we're talking nonsense, if you're not familiar with this, just in case, motion smoothing is the setting that comes on default on a lot of most HD TVs. And the thing is that sports, which is what most people primarily use their televisions for, let's be real, do look really good with it. Whatever it does, it basically adds a couple of artificial frames to the image that sort of smoothens it out. The problem is films, movies, and a lot of TV shows are filmed at 24 frames per second. That's what sort of gives it that magic cinematic look that we're used to. Motion smoothing artificially adds extra frames, and that's what kind of gives it that weird, smooth soap opera-y effect that looks terrible and should die.
Yes, it looks like a BBC TV movie from the 90s.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. No good. No, thank you. My viewing experience was not dissimilar. Motion smoothing wasn't on, but I watched it on my computer hooked up to my TV.
Sure.
And usually it's fine. The quality drop isn't great, but I don't know if it was the internet connection or what, but it was not at the resolution that I would have appreciated for a major motion picture to be at. Sure. Which was distracting. Having said that, I enjoyed the movie about as much as I enjoyed Knives Out, which is I thought it was fine. I was really with it for the first half, and then I know it's part of the genre, but it's like one little twist too many.
Sure.
Little too cute for me.
I know you're not you weren't a huge Knives Out guy. Is it fair to say you being Zach, who it works somehow. I twist it around so many times that it makes sense.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get back to it.
You're not. I would say I'm a very large Rian Johnson fan. His whole shtick works for me. I don't think you feel the same way.
No. I mean, the guy seems like a really cool guy. I've listened to a lot of interviews with him. The script he wrote for Brick is one of the best scripts I've ever read. I'm not talking about the movie itself, which is good, but the actual script, like the written script, is one of the best scripts I've ever read before as a screenwriter. And I usually enjoy his movies, and there's a lot to like. But yeah, his shtick, the more he leans into comedy, I don't think he's as funny as most people do.
Sure.
And some of the plot contrivances in his movies don't work for me.
Sure.
But I get it when people like the movies. You know what I mean? I get it. And I would never try to take it away from anyone. And as we've gone over before in the show, I'm not an incel who hates The Last Jedi.
It's similarly to you, I liked it about as much as I liked the original Knives Out, but I liked Knives Out quite a bit, and I liked this quite a bit. I don't think it's an amazing movie, just a very pleasant watch, and when he makes a third one, I'll watch a third one.
I mean, if this was Siskel and Ebert or Ebert and Roper, I would be giving it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it.
Right.
This kind of, it seems like I'm being negative. It's relative
I don't think
to
so.
the like, people love these movies, and I'm not on that level, but I mean, Daniel Craig is having a fucking ball. And it's fun to watch that.
That's what I think is the most
fun. The whole cast is having a ball. I mean, that is contagious, and I would watch. I'm going to watch any movie he makes. I'm going to watch because they're usually enjoyable and fun and interesting to talk about. So,
specifically on Daniel Craig, I think based on his like several SNL stints, the dude's kind of a ham and like enjoys being a ham, and he's just having so much more fun in this movie than he has in any of the recent Bond movies. And like,
Yes,
it's just
absolutely.
nice. It's just nice.
And I'm gonna spoil something that happens about an hour in to this movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, skip ahead 60 seconds in the podcast. But the moment in the movie where he ruins Edward Norton's mystery thing was so fucking funny.
I loved it.
That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Perfect. And the
Like,
arrow hits at the perfect. Oh, it's good. It's good.
I don't want to. You know what? I said a minute ago that a lot of his. I don't think he's as funny as other people, but a lot of the jokes were fucking
Sure.
funny and did land. I laughed out loud a number of times, so I don't want to give people the wrong idea. That was so fucking great. Great.
I
Also the whatever the dude was who was just staying on the island, who would like walk into the scene once in a while.
Yes.
That was really good. Like stoner dude.
Yes, and then didn't ultimately like play into the mystery at all.
No.
I was also a big fan of Ethan Hawke just showing up for like a minute.
Wait, when was Ethan Hawke in it?
They're on the dock and they get like shot into the thing and they're just like good on COVID. That was Ethan Hawke.
Oh, I think when I was watching, I was like, that guy looks like Ethan Hawke.
It was Ethan Hawke.
Oh, great.
What? Like
Great.
my wife and I like spent like, was he already in Greece? Like,
Yeah, I bet he must have been there. He was already there.
I hope he hasn't because I believe Netflix bought 2 of them. So I believe a third one is coming. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I hope he has an equally small role in the third one.
I'm watching the third one.
Yeah. But all right, I'm good on movies.
Great. Should we start the recap portion of this?
Start the recap portion of this.
On the WB Wednesday,
Clark, what are you doing?
don't you wish something has changed?
I don't remember you being a scotch drinker. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm not myself.
Yet only one man
Who the hell do you think you are?
knows the truth.
It's me, Mom. It's Clark. This is Lionel Luthor.
Fresh Smallville on the WB Wednesday.
It's me, Mom. It's Clark.
Fresh Smallville.
Ooh,
That
boy.
That was actually a pretty accurate representation of the episode. They just, in all these promos, they just up the intensity level about 100 times. Like, it's not that intense. We're having fun here on This is Smallville.
This is the best episode maybe yet, I think.
This is a good one. And I'm not just saying that because we're going through exactly what happens in the episode.
It is very
coincidentally,
relatable.
But
I do like seeing myself depicted in media.
I mean, we're having fun in season 4, Brian. We're having fun in season 4. Zach.
Yes, right. Of course. It's hard. I'm worried that if we don't find a way to transfer back, our consciousness will permanently set.
Yes, because I'm looking at you, Zach, in me, Brian's body. So I want to call you Brian. It's a weird thing.
It's weird. And I'm worried
Definitely
about
not. It's not just a bit that we've been fucking up. It's a weird thing to really experience that's really happening.
it. Definitely 100% not a bit we were not anticipating to feel so complicated. That said, man, every television show should have a body swap episode.
I mean,
Star Trek,
seriously.
Star Trek: Strange New Worlds did it this past season. Spock and his fiance switch bodies, and they have to understand. They get into a fight, and then they swap bodies, and they learn to understand each other's position a little better.
Oh,
Every
gotcha.
show should. I mean, fucking The Sopranos should have had it. Like,
Community had one, but that was in season 4.
yes. I think it's great. I think it's a gimmick that works every time, and everyone looks like they're having a good time. It's great.
Yes, fantastic. All right, so Transference is the 6th episode in the 4th season of Smallville and 72nd episode overall. It aired on October 27th, 2004. All right. Oh, hold on. Your computer is different than mine, so
Oh, I see. Yeah.
that what I'm used to. All right. Clark is in the barnyard practicing football when Jonathan and Jason arrive to announce that a Met U scout will be at Friday's game. However, Clark's excitement is cut short when he begins to hear a painful ringing in his ears.
I gotta stop you
Jonathan,
right there.
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I did not think about the scholarship angle on Clark's football abilities. Having basically a free ride to, we have learned that the Kents, like, it's not that easy for them, they don't have that much money. So, like, basically a free ride to fucking college.
Yeah, you think Johnny K's like just thinking about that now too, like, oh fuck, maybe Clark should have been playing football this whole time.
Right. Also, Clark practicing football like that was silly. That's it.
Oh, really silly. But like that Johnny K has, they are all about like do the right thing and don't take advantage with your powers. But we have seen, and we will see later in this episode, that Johnny K is okay taking advantage of Clark's powers when it comes to helping around the farm.
Right.
Almost to the point where he's entitled and impatient about it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes, and Clark pretending to be in the Super Bowl or whatever, or the championship game by himself was really cheesy. I don't doubt that people did that in high school, but I don't think he would be like saying out loud, like, yeah, they won the championship.
And the Crows take the state championship.
I knew you were talented. I didn't know you could see into the future.
I was just practicing.
It's always such a funny problem, and I always enjoy having to problem solve in this way. Is there a better way to show someone coming in cold, like I heard about Smallville, to communicate quickly? Clark's on the football team. He likes playing football, because he's going to say the opposite later in the episode.
Right. Oh, that's true. Yep.
I don't know what else to do.
It's economical.
Yeah. But
although
it's dopey.
you would think with super hearing that he would have heard them coming.
He was that wrapped up in the fantasy.
Okay, so yeah, Clark hears the painful ringing in his ears. Jonathan sends Jason away. Clark explains that he hears a ringing sound and says he has to go. He super speeds away. At the Kansas State Penitentiary, Lionel is having a visitation with Lex. He looks very weak and pained. Lex remarks that he probably has about a month to live. Lionel explains that he did not want to die without telling Lex he loved him and reaches across the table to him.
So John Glover and Michael Rosenbaum together, it's always so good. I feel like they bring out the best in each other. It's great.
I mean, it's like Rihanna and Eminem.
Yes,
it's just
yes.
It is. They make music, beautiful music together. Just then, Clark enters and uses his X-ray vision to see that Lionel is clutching a pointed stone. Also, I've never been to a prison other than Alcatraz in like the tour, but I've never been to a working prison. Can you just show up and they just let you in like that? Like Clark just shows up to the prison and they're like, yeah, go on back. They're talking.
I have to assume that all facility... Is this prison in Smallville? Is this Supermax very hardcore? It must be in Metropolis, right? It must be in Metropolis.
It's somewhere in the state of Kansas.
Either way, it's clearly run by the same people who run Smallville Medical and the Teens on Teens Crisis Center.
And Smallville High. Yeah.
It's so like, hey, I'm here. I'm a teenager. I just showed up. Oh yeah, go back there. It's not locked.
You probably need an appointment, right, Brian? You need an appointment.
There are certainly like doors you have to go by, right? Did he?
There's protocol.
Is there like a Clark-shaped hole in the fucking bars?
No, I'm pretty sure someone lets him in. They open the door and he walks in. Okay. He rushes between them and lifts Lionel away from Lex. Lionel grabs Clark's fist, and the spirits of the two men swirl and merge. That's actually a pretty good description of what we see in that scene. They're swirling and merging. They switch bodies and fall away from each other. The guards rush in and haul Clark in Lionel's body away as he protests.
Great. Oh, it's so good. It's immediately just the biggest smile on my face. Just it's going to be a good episode.
I mean, and they get to it quick. I mean, they're like the important part of this episode is the gimmick of switching bodies. So we're not wasting time. They're switching bodies before the teaser,
right?
Within 2 minutes,
because we're gonna get our maximum fucking like good shit. It's I love a Smallville episode that just came about of like, well, this would be fun. Like,
yeah, right, yeah. You know what? I was watching Face Off the other night. That was a fun movie. I mean, we can get to this now. Tom Welling, this might be his best performance in the show.
I think so. It's a real like ham up of
right, which he's good at though.
I agree. No, I this reminded me of like every time we have a guest on that, and I'm so thankful for all the guests who have been on the show over the time we've been doing this. But every single one is like, "What up with Tom Welling? He is good.
He is. He's great when he plays Red K Clark, or any kind of off Clark. He's great.
Yes, it's the character of Clark doesn't have a lot to do other than look kind of dopey,
right?
Like,
which is really clear when you see like Tom Welling is doing an impression of John Glover in this episode.
Yes.
John Glover is doing an impression of really terrible actor who just like he's doing like, I am just saying these lines.
Right.
I texted you. I actually think Tom Welling wins this act off with John Glover.
I can't. I suppose disagree. You know what I was surprised by was knowing that the body swap episode was coming up. I still weirdly thought that like John Glover as Clark would be kind of the main focus of the episode, though it immediately clicked into my brain like, oh no, the hot like quote unquote teen, the hot person is still going to be the main like draw of the episode. They're going to focus on the high school characters, of course.
I didn't even think about that, but that's of course. And also, Lionel is the more interesting. Lionel in Clark's body is more interesting than Clark and Lionel's body.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, 100%. And you know what?
Although the stuff with Clark in prison is good stuff. Where
it's good.
He has to fight the big bad guy or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Great.
Should we talk about Okay. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this through your eyes, Zach. So
and getting used to your eyes, Brian, even just like the shape of your mouth is weird. Also, go to a dentist. Just throwing that out there.
I could floss a little more. You're right. I'm sorry. I could floss a little more. Okay, Clark. Wait, gosh, they're not going to do this the entire time. They are.
Oh, the wiki made the same mistake that we hypothetically made if this was a bit.
Yes,
once again,
exactly.
not a bit.
The wiki is every time we talk about Lionel or Clark from now on, we're going to say Lionel in Clark's body or Clark in Lionel's body. Wiki, if only I could have gone back in time and warned you.
That's a different gimmick for a different podcast episode.
Lionel in Clark's body stutters out an explanation to Lex, who offers to take him home. Lex drops Clark off and he wanders around the barnyard where he finds Jonathan, who asks him to lift up the tractor. Lionel is astonished to discover that he can. Johnny K's like, hey, will you help me lift up the tractor? And, of course, Lionel's like, what do you mean? And Johnny K's really impatient. He's like, come on, I'm trying to get this done.
It's good, though. It's so good. We already got the scene also before this. We skipped Lionel in Clark's body with Lex in the car. They do mention it. I'm seeing it now. But just Tom Welling is just doing a John Glover's Lionel impression. It's really fun. But he's also now talking like a crazy person.
Do you ever feel guilty? About sending your father to prison, I mean.
Why would I? The man murdered his parents. I did society a favor.
And that blood relationship, it doesn't mean anything to you.
Clark, since when did you become president of my father's fan club?
You're right. Of course. He's only your father. Why should you feel anything?
I guess we don't have to imagine. It's happened to us, but
right.
Suddenly, we're in the car, and one of us suddenly starts talking real weird about. He's only your father, who you put in jail.
Right.
You wouldn't at any point be like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?"
I think I would be like. I'd be like, that's a funny impression of my father. You sound just like him. I would be like, you're doing a bit and I appreciate it. And I would laugh, but I would also call it out and be like, you're definitely doing an impression of my dad right now. And it's spot on.
I love that this means, though, that Lionel just thinks people talk this way and not distinct. And that he doesn't sound crazy. Because it sounds crazy coming out of Tom Welling's mouth.
Right. Well, when I was first in your body, Brian, last week, I was talking like my old self.
I guess that's true. That's true. It took some time. It took some time to get down
Zach,
these pitch
when I was
perfect.
first in your body, Zach.
I'm telling you, it's happening. The synchronicity. We got to figure out how to reverse this before it's too late.
Oh, turns out I say your name too much in this podcast. That's what I learned. Okay. Clark finds an entire wall filled with articles and research about the Stones of Power in Lionel's prison cell. He meets his cellmate, Edgar Cole. Edgar tells him that he is an expert translator who was framed and helped Lionel figure out how to switch bodies, intending to trap Lex in prison. Edgar also tells Clark that Lionel is dying of an incurable liver disease. So the implication here is that Lionel had this guy framed and brought to the prison just specifically to help him. Really elaborate plan.
Right.
Which, a lot of foresight on Lionel's part.
I'll frame him, bring him to the prison. He'll bring an ancient Kryptonian relic, and then I'll switch bodies with my son. And my son will then die of liver cancer in the...
Is this episode has to be the most evil Lionel has been yet.
I think so. I don't think there's topping this. Yeah. The Edgar Cole here, this character is J.P. Mannix. Who is a character actor I've seen in a handful of things, usually playing this weird mousy guy. I believe
he's typecast.
I believe he's like the evil Dean, the replacement Dean Pelton in Community.
Oh, he is. He is. You're right. Spot on.
Yeah.
Okay. In Clark's barn, Lionel is admiring his new physique. By the way, Tom Welling has his shirt off in this episode. Dude did some push-ups that week. Looking
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Looking real good.
He doesn't love to do it if he doesn't think it's worth it. But like, man,
No.
it's good here. It's great.
While on the phone with a foreign bank, he is trying to transfer funds, but he fails the voice verification and grows frustrated. Martha enters
Oh
and
god,
is
this
surprised
scene gets
to
crazy.
see. Oh, this is the scene of the episode, Brian.
I will say, the second I saw Martha, Mama K, enter the scene, I had forgotten about the Lionel Martha storyline, and I'm like, oh right.
I mean, I'm just proud of the Smallville writers for going there, for just being like, yeah.
They
Yes.
it's it came up. It was like, well, we'd have to deal with Clark, and we'd have to deal with Lionel and Martha, and everyone laughed, and they went like, we can't, and they do.
I mean, they could have just not had him run into Martha at home.
They could have.
But that would have been a cowardly move.
And if there's one thing about the Smallville writers, they are not cowards.
No. Okay, so Martha enters and is surprised to see Clark wearing a dress shirt and slacks. She notices Clark's behavior is off and asks him about the ringing he heard earlier.
Oh, I got to pause real fast. Several people will notice that Clark is in khakis and a tucked-in shirt. Like, nothing crazy here. But, like, if you're wearing so much flannel that, like, literally everyone you see goes like, what up with the no flannel? We done with the flannel? You're wearing too much flannel. You need to diversify your wardrobe a little bit.
Too much flannel.
I'm gonna throw out there his outfit. Not notable. Office casual. Like...
Oh, okay. Martha enters. Oh wait, I said Clark in quotation marks. So they're just Wiki. Can you stick with one stylistic choice here?
Yeah.
Lionel says he just needs a hug. They hug awkwardly, and Lionel becomes aroused and shoots a beam of heat out of the barn window. Yes, they went there. They went there, Brian.
So
they went there.
It's a full boner. And it's the classic, like, from Heat.
I mean, I know it wasn't something they planned that far ahead, but this is such a payoff for that boner episode.
Yes,
the boner heat vision thing. Oh, that was just build up to this moment here when Lionel in Clark's body shoots his wad when he hugs Martha.
It's so funny and it's so upsetting. And we're like a whole decade before Game of Thrones.
It's like Back to the Future, baby. Yeah. It's just like, oh. Martha gets annoyed and leaves. Okay, that's not quite true, Wiki. She sees the fire. The tractor's on fire.
You're right.
Damaged farm equipment.
I'm gonna step away to kind of. I also keep my my.
You're gonna do it. I thought I was gonna have to do it since I'm here with your account.
No, I started a whole new one. I replicated entirely from memory.
Not that I don't trust you, Zach, but just in case we switch back, you're gonna want your original one.
You're probably right. You know what? That's smart. Not that I think we'll switch back. I think the transference will be permanent.
No, I mean, like, if it was a bit, I could see us switching back, but
yeah.
Okay, first damaged farm equipment of the season.
Wow.
So Martha sees that it's on fire, and she goes, "Go put it out." and he's like, "With what?" And Martha says, like, almost like she's playing a teenage girl. She goes, "With your hands, like, you idiot."
Extremely good.
Oh, okay. In the house, Jason has come back to see how Clark is feeling. Clark tells him that he's not going to the football game and quits the team, slamming the front door closed. Jason looks shocked.
I love I guess in Lionel's view, like, this is permanent. Like, he's not intending to switch back at any point. So
Right.
I guess he doesn't need to have any tact around this.
I appreciate that Jason wears his high school football coach jacket wherever he goes.
Yes, which Jason Teague, you're looking at me like you don't know who I am. To which I'm gonna throw out there as a rich business person, Lionel probably meets a lot of people and probably should be better at pretending he knows people than he is in this episode.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
You know?
Although I did hear that line from your family a couple times at Christmas, and it was like,
but you are not a rich business person.
no, I am not. Nor are you.
No, you are in fact quite poor. So
neither
poor.
of us is rolling in it, Brian. Zach. Okay. In prison, Clark as Lionel asks Edgar to help him make a phone call. When they enter the common area, a large convict roughs Clark up, threatening to kill him. Without his abilities, Clark is powerless to fight back. So the guy, first of all, the guy calls Clark Trump
several times. Real proud of that.
Yep. This is when Trump was a punchline that wasn't president yet, not a punchline that had been president.
Right.
Basically, Lionel owes this guy money for whatever reason, and the guy's says he's gonna kill him if he doesn't get him the money by tomorrow at whatever o'clock.
Which the move here so we've also learned like phone calls is very strict. I think like one a week. It's been wired to your account. You can't. I don't have it here.
That'll buy me more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wired it. Yeah. You think I have it in my pillowcase?
Yeah. What are you gonna do with it in here?
Lionel tries to access the Luthor Core company database from the computers in the Torch office. Oh, this scene made me uncomfortable. But Lionel has changed the password. Chloe arrives and also comments on Clark's attire. Lionel starts playing mind games with Chloe, asking her what she would do if Lionel were to get out of prison. He then starts going on about how he finds her fascinating and leans in to kiss her.
Yucky.
Oh, the wiki gets this wrong. The wiki says just as they are about to kiss, he pulls back and whispers cruelly, "Don't you wish," and saunters off. Don't they actually kiss for a minute?
I know. I think it's a close one.
Oh,
I think the wiki is correct. Right.
Does he kiss Lana later?
I believe so.
Okay, just as they are about to kiss, he pulls back and whispers cruelly, "Don't you wish," and saunters off. Chloe is nearly in tears as he walks away. So I know Lionel's just doing the romantic thing to hurt her because he knows he can tell. Lionel can read people. He can tell she's in love with Clark.
Right.
It's still creepy. I still didn't like it.
Emily was on the couch next to me and just went, "Oh, no. Which, let's not forget, we're in Smallville world where everyone is an adult in the same age, even Lionel. But
yeah,
it's still weird.
I mean, look, I'm going to assume that you, living with my wife for the past week, didn't do anything sketchy with her.
Of course not.
Of
course not.
It doesn't excuse it.
It doesn't excuse anything. The transference doesn't excuse anything.
No. I assume you slept on the couch. Is that right?
Of course.
You slept on the couch, right, Zach?
Yes, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
I don't have a bit here. I don't have a joke. But I'll come up with one later.
Okay, so yeah, gross, weird, creepy. Lana and Jason are in his office discussing Isabel Thoreau. That's the witch that the painting was made of that gave Lana the tattoo in the first episode of the season.
How could we forget?
Who it turns out is her ancestor, it sounds like. maybe.
Right.
And Clark walks by and bursts in on them kissing. They gotta stop kissing at the school, Brian. What the fuck? What is that? Does that just give him a thrill to do it at school? Like, how dumb are you? How dumb are you?
Truly psychotically dumb. I did have to. Emily was sitting next to me while I was watching this, and then she excitedly, more mortified, like, "Is she dating a teacher?" So I had to explain the whole thing.
He's only a year older.
And then they were already dating when he took the job
at her school. Okay, so Clark bursts in on them kissing. He makes rude remarks about their relationship, shocking Jason again and upsetting Lana. Yeah, if I was Jason, I'd be like, God, Clark's kind of a dick.
He kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's enough to get you thrown off a football team, but that might come close.
Well, he already quit.
I guess he quit.
Lana's like, oh no, Clark just becomes a different person once a year for a week. He's done this before. At least he didn't run off to Metropolis this time.
Yet.
And at least he's not wearing a leather jacket and sunglasses.
Looking like a real cool guy. Now he's just in business casual.
Lionel as Clark goes to the prison to visit Clark as Lionel. Oh my gosh. He threatens to kill Lex unless Clark records himself saying the access codes to Lionel's bank accounts. Back at the barn, he learns the accounts are empty and is still seething as Lana enters. She tells him that her relationship with Jason is serious, but she's sorry he found out the way he did. He doesn't really care, but decides to play mind games with her too. He forces a kiss on her, and she slaps him across the face as she storms off angrily while Lionel looks pleased with himself.
It's a bad man.
Didn't love that.
It's a bad man. Not all right.
So Lionel as Clark says the line to Lana, something about plucking her succulent fruit. And Lana has the only appropriate response to that, which is, don't talk to me like that.
Whatever the fuck that was, no. Take it again.
It's funny because she goes from like just fine to like, how fucking dare you?
And you know what? She's the only one that does. He's talking like a psychopath to everyone. And she's the only one who's like, what the fuck was that shit?
Okay. Martha arrives at the prison to visit Lionel. He tells her a story she already knows about how when he was 6, he super sped into the woods and got lost. Lionel is Clark as Lionel convinces her that he is really Clark inside. He explains how the stone caused them to switch bodies and warns her of who she thinks is Clark.
Part of me thought initially that, like, man, she buys that pretty fast. But also, it's season 4 of fucking Smallville. Like, why? You could have believed it the first time he said it.
She's not Johnny K. Yeah. She's not going to be like, I've heard some stories in my life.
A transference? Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. Lionel as Clark then goes to Luthor Mansion to force the money out of Lex. Through his words and actions, Lex realizes that he is really Lionel as he forces the life out of him.
Lex, meanwhile, buys it pretty fast.
What is he forces the life out of him?
That is a crazy way to say chokes.
It must be forces the money out of him? I don't know. But yeah, he chokes him. Yeah, Lex, I know he would pick up on something being wrong or off.
Right.
But like, I don't know if you would jump to...
It's... Clark,
you must be my father in someone else's body.
Clark has a very goofy, like, I need $57 million. now. And Lex is just immediately like, a transference has taken place.
Which, I mean, now that we have experienced it in real life, it's not as far-fetched to you and me.
No, it's it's actually I think it's pretty common. I think anyone who just picks up a random rare Kryptonian rock and shows it to their buddy.
Well, those things are a dime a dozen.
They're everywhere.
Martha shows up and subdues Clark with a meteor rock, but he zips away. She tries to call Jonathan to warn him, but Clark, quotation marks, arrives first and throws Jonathan across the room. Boy, does he ever. He launches Johnny K 20 feet into all the shelves in the kitchen. Like, Johnny K's dead. He's dead from that.
Right. Is there a good reason to not just kill him? Maybe he fully intended to, because you're right. He does like...
Right, yeah, maybe he's like, this surely would murder this man. He is not bouncing back from this.
Right.
He is just in time to answer a call from Edgar. At the prison, Edgar explains that the transference is temporary unless one of the people is dead. At the same time, the convict is harassing Lionel again, Lionel quotation marks, in the common room. Once again, he calls him Trump.
Real proud of that one.
He fights back and a riot breaks out. So Clark fights back against this guy. He ends up like winning the fight, and the prisoners start chanting, Lionel, Lionel. Love it. Love a good, then a prison riot breaks out. Love a good prison riot.
Yes. Is that where we see the Clark as Lionel, walking through the crowd as the needle drop plays?
Oh, yeah. I think this is where the needle drop comes in. Yeah.
Which is Jimmy Eat World. Big get.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. It's real good. And Tom Welling's having a lot of fun with it.
I mean, the moment is fantastic. I don't know if the needle drop is great.
I know.
It's a very Smallville needle drop, though.
Yes. Yeah. I had a big smile on my face when it happened, not because it was good, but I liked it.
So, in the scene with Lex and Lionel as Clark, Lex says, "This isn't you talking," and I was like, "Oh, we were so close to getting it." But then Lionel says right back, "You're right. I'm not myself."
It's.
Are the writers? Did they have a bingo card or something? Like they're trying to get as many in as
so specific. It's so specifically repeated so often that there must have been some sort of challenge. Did you ever see there was a Lonely Island interview or there's a video and it's stitched together of all the junket interviews from Popstar where they tried to fit in Jimmy Fallon into as many interview questions as possible. Just bring everything, if at all possible, back to Jimmy Fallon. And then on the Tonight Show, they played a supercut of every time. And I have to assume there's something similar here of like, get it into the episode. Get it into the episode. Like,
not yourself. Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Okay, Lionel as Clark uses the opportunity to approach Clark as Lionel and picks him up by the front of his prison uniform. And it says parentheses, orange jumpsuit and white slip-on sneakers.
Thanks, Wiki.
What is happening? What a random detail.
Very important.
The two argue, and Clark as Lionel grabs his hand, clutching the stone. Their spirits transfer back into their rightful bodies. Clark drops Lionel and the stone and speeds away. Dazed, Lionel notices the liver splotches on his hand have disappeared. Great news for Lionel.
Great news for Lionel. I didn't catch that at first. And John Glover appears to be crying here. That's real good.
Yes.
It's real good.
Yep. Back home, Martha and Jonathan inform Clark that Lionel as Clark quit the football team and upset both Chloe and Lana.
This is funny. It's good.
Clark explains that he was drawn to the stone just like he was as Kal-El. He tells them about the altar in the caves and about how he believes the stones are meant for him to find. They warn him of Lionel since he knows his secret, but Clark remarks that Lionel is dying. Also, when we come back to Lionel, turns out he forgot everything. Memory loss.
Yeah.
Memory loss.
I thought that was cheap. I didn't like. That's my one mark again. I didn't like it. I thought they should have committed to it.
If he has memory loss, Clark has to have it too.
That's like, unless he's Kryptonian, so it's fine. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's cheating. Although one could argue, perhaps Lionel is lying about not remembering.
That's true. That's a Lionel move.
Yes. So maybe. But I'm going to put memory loss because at least he claims to have had it.
He certainly couldn't in the well, you see, a transference took place.
That's right, yeah. Unless he was talking to Lex and he'd be like, yep, I believe it.
Do you think our transference it will fix any of our medical anomalies?
Oh, that would be sweet. But I think then one of us would have to be super powered first.
Fuck. Oh, got it. Yeah. That doesn't just come with the territory, yeah.
But then it doesn't make sense, though. I guess if he went to Clark's body and came back, maybe he carried a little of it with him. That's what it was.
Oh, do you have an issue with the magic with the magic consciousness changing rock? Is it not lining up enough for you, Brian?
At school, Clark tries to patch up his friendships with Chloe and Lana, who are still furious. Chloe suggests he get psychological help, and Lana angrily asks him to keep quiet about her and Jason, not realizing that Clark didn't know what Lionel did as Clark.
Chloe recommending psychological help is maybe not handled with the delicacy we would now.
What does she say? Refresh my memory.
I mean, it is just very like, I think you need to find some help. Psychological help. And it's just like, it's...
Okay, Chloe.
And it's Clark's response of being like, I don't need to talk to someone. And it's like, well, Clark, you might want... Clark, that might actually be the only window out of here that, like...
She's giving you a chance, yeah.
We're out of plausible things here now.
You think of all people, Chloe would understand this body swapping thing.
Yeah, right. I think you could just...
And also, Clark, or Lionel as Clark, did call her Miss Sullivan.
Right. You literally, there have been, in the first season alone, there were like 24 meteor freak incidents at this high school.
Yes. Clark, you could explain this without having to tell her what you know about the meteor rock, or the Kryptonian rock, or whatever.
Lana too.
Also,
there's no.
Also, yeah, Lex knows.
Right.
Just be like, hey, Lex can vouch.
Right.
Lionel was in my body for a day.
Yeah, this is a non-issue. I think you could even go to Jason Teague and just go, yeah, Lionel Luthor took over my body. Welcome to Smallville. This happens sometimes. Did you hear about Bug Boy?
No, because we're too busy hearing about the 30 other people that kidnapped and tried to kill Lana.
Did you hear about the axe last year? And then the kid who shot at you with a shotgun. Like last week.
Or what about the teacher that kidnapped you and tried to burn you alive? And then, yeah, that. But this is a non-issue because everyone's going to forget about it next week. Lastly, Clark goes to see Lex, who immediately threatens Clark with the 4-barrel pistol. As Lex knows Lionel could be inside Clark's body, he must have proof it is Clark in Clark's body. Lex asks Clark about what the two joke about concerning the day they met. Lex gives Clark some background, and Clark wonders out loud about the 20 questions. What?
What? Lex gives Clark some background, and Clark wonders out loud about the 20 questions routine, about the grilling, the interrogation he's receiving from Lex.
Oh gosh, that's the wording here.
But also Clark Clark seems stunned that Lex would maybe want to be sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Clark, a little more understanding. Lex won't have any stalling and again threatens Clark with a gun. Clark, realizing Lionel, also upset, did a number on Lex, backs off and replies, "He told you to drive slower." Basically, it's so confusing. Lex is like, "What did your dad say to me
Right.
when I almost killed you and drove you, the car accident, the pilot, and he told you to drive slower."
Right.
Lex drops the pistol and welcomes Clark back with a hug, by the way. It doesn't say that, but they give an embrace.
Right.
Lex Clark shippers eat that up with their YouTube videos.
Me. Make them kiss.
While Lex wonders how it all happens and Clark again plays dumb, this time Lex doesn't push it. The wiki says, parentheses, friendship.
There's somebody new taking over here, I think, on the Smallville wiki, and I'm a fan.
This time Lex doesn't push it. Friendship. He wants to thank Clark for saving him, as otherwise it would have been him locked away in prison dying of liver failure. Clark asks a favor of Lex to help Edgar out of prison. After asking a few questions, Lex agrees to try and get an innocent man out of prison. Whew. This is hard in your body reading this.
It's difficult.
I mean, it's always hard when I do it every week, but it's especially hard now.
Yeah, wow, I'm really appreciating the the rest of it there.
At the prison, it is confirmed that Lionel's liver has indeed healed itself, and Edgar is released. He climbs into a waiting limousine to be greeted by Bridget Crosby, played by Margot Kidder, who collects the crystal of water from him. I assume that's the rock, the Kryptonian thing.
It's fucking. The second you bring and like, I'm a D&D guy, so like, don't get me wrong, I've thrown in my share of fucking magic rocks. It's silly every time.
Yeah,
just silly MacGuffin rocks. Don't get me wrong, love them, use them all the time. But
the one thing that the wiki didn't mention, and it's very important, is that at the end of the episode, Lionel says a line which leads us into the next phase of Lionel, which is the born again Lionel, one of my favorite Lionel phases. Basically, he implies that he has, because Clark was in his body, he has felt that something like, what did he say? Like some good has been in him, or some
right.
Some presence has been in him, and it has changed him.
Right.
And now we are entering a phase where, Lionel claims to be a changed man, and basically wants to be a good person now. Whether or not that's true or whether or not he sticks to it, I will not spoil here, but he does. That's the next phase.
Brian, I'm so excited you seem to have gone. Normally you're the one excited about what's upcoming, or normally I'm the one excited about what's upcoming for Lionel,
right,
and remembering the show, because I've seen it several times, but you seem to, while you've been spending time, because all the DVDs are there. Got it. So you did some research, and you got all caught up.
Yes, the DVDs are here. I also got that commentary track. I mean, it's just so much more convenient. Yep. It all adds up. It all adds up. Let's see here.
Good episode.
Great episode. One of the best ones we've seen, yes.
Kind of feel like, it's one of those ones, like, when they're really good, I feel like we just kind of breeze through the recap of, like, there's not much to say beyond it's good. It's a good episode of Smallville.
Episode of the year nominee, candidate, probably winner at this point. Up there.
I think this would be a tough one. Man, season 4 is a banger.
Yes, dude.
Absolute banger.
I also had a thought today that maybe we should do, in addition to MVP, best single episode performance.
Sure. Oh, sure. That's a good idea.
New category, because Tom Welling.
This is. And Tom doesn't have many awards.
No.
It's Tom got a single win?
Transference is the process in which thoughts, qualities, or powers are passed from one being to another. Great.
There was also a whole thing around the transfer of money.
Ooh, I didn't even pick up on that. Let's see.
That's because you, Brian, are an idiot, and I, Zach, am very smart.
As Clark is not in possession of his body, this marks the 4th time that he has lost his abilities. The other losses occurred in Leech, Perry, and Asylum.
I don't think being transferred counts as a loss of powers.
I mean, he was in someone else's body, and he didn't have the powers.
I mean, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. I'll take the L.
The prisoner who plays Who Wants to Beat a Millionaire is the same as the one who shaved Lionel's head in Covenant, as you can see his tattoo in both episodes. So that's what he owes him the $10,000 for, is for shaving his...
Right, of course. Very expensive haircut in prison.
Oh my God, this is the best one. The prisoner refers to Lionel as Trump, probably a reference to the former president, Donald Trump. Probably. Chances are pretty good.
I don't know. I think this might be stretch of the episode.
On the season 4 DVD, John Glover and Tom Welling revealed that while shooting this episode, John Glover would act out the scene while Tom Welling observed. They would then switch places, and Welling would take Glover's mannerisms. I also know that on the DVD, they revealed that Tom Welling would not act out the scenes for John Glover, as he did not want him to. Do you think Tom Welling was offended by John Glover's impression of him?
I don't know. Do you think Tom wanted to do the scene so that John Glover could imitate him? Do you that'd be a fun thing they did for each other, and was a little offended when John Glover didn't want to do that?
Yes, almost certainly.
Almost certainly, right?
Is this a question we have to ask them when they get this episode on
Yes,
Talkville?
absolutely.
Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. If you pause at 1947, when the two cheerleaders are about to pass Lionel Clark, I don't like the start of that sentence. Where's this going? The classic Superman shield symbol is visible on a Join the Pep Squad poster.
Oh, weird. That's more obvious than we usually get.
But you have to pause it.
Got it.
Although
that
Lionel
means canonically, Superman is just wearing the shield from his high school.
Yes, absolutely. Although Lionel is in Clark's body at the time, this marks the first time that he and Lana have been depicted interacting with each other. Wow. John Glover and Lana Lang, no scenes together till now.
Huh. That's kind of crazy. And still none. Lionel and Lana have interacted, but John Glover and
they will.
I suppose
they will.
All right.
Definitely, they interact a lot more when Lana marries Lex.
Yep.
All right. I think that's it. Good episode. Great episode.
Great episode.
Great episode. Oh my gosh. If this were a bit that we were doing, it would make sense if we ended the bit now at the end of the episode. Like if, we got back into our normal bodies.
So obviously this isn't a bit. This is not a bit.
Right.
So that's not a thing
not.
But
I wouldn't joke about this.
So for this very real situation that we're in, I have thought of an idea, something that might actually help reverse a retransference, if you will.
Oh, okay.
May I ask the Smallville gods?
Oh my gosh, yes, you fucking genius, Zach Rowe with a big dick. You are a fucking genius. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to cue me up?
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can do this in your body right. Zach, do you have any questions for the Smallville gods?
Yeah. Hey, Smallville gods. Could you just retransfer us back into our regular bodies?
Good night, everybody. Yeah!